Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about JavaScript Origins. So JavaScript was established and created in 1995 by Netscape, one of the most famous browsers at that time. Now they wanted to use JavaScript for everyday actions like logging we do, registration, add to cart functionalities, play and pause, something like that, toggling, and much more. So in short, they were creating JavaScript, or they invent JavaScript to do all sorts of action that we take on our web page. But the limits to the JavaScript are not only to the pages and websites. So it can be used in games, virtual realities. So imagine you can create JavaScript function and that will control a robot. For example, how to move their arms, how to move their legs. So yeah, that is super awesome and cool. So imagine you can do all of that with JavaScript. Now, obviously back then in 1995, there were also other browsers. So at that time, they're doing their own versions of JavaScript so they can compete with the Netscape. So the Netscape was the most popular, one of the most popular, and the other ones just try to invent something, try to implement their own versions of JavaScript so they can compete. And there was the problem. Every browser had its own implementation and understanding what JavaScript is and how it should work behind scenes. Now, this triggered something, a creation of standard, and this standard is known as ECMAScript. So because of this standard, now the things are easier for us. Now with the help of this standardization, every browser can implement the same JavaScript. There are different versions of ECMAScript, and this should not scare you because we will go through most of them and we will start from the beginnings. But the versions of JavaScript should tell you only one thing, that JavaScript is on evolutionary path and it's evolving every day and it's getting better. So today we are using ES6 features, and you will see the ES6 features later on in this course. Now, to be a full stack developer, you need to know front and back. And in a front end development, there is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Angular, Vue.js, and much more. And also, in the back end, they have also different programming languages. So one of the most popular is Node.js, but there are also others like Express, Next, Meteor.js, and others, right? And that is why we need to have a knowledge of JavaScript. So, ready for the JavaScript and get our hands dirty? Well, if the answer is yes, then I will see you in the next one when we will start doing the basics of JavaScript.